Hi, I'm Old Norse Specialist Dr. Jackson Crawford. I teach at the University of Colorado Boulder, previously at UC Berkeley and UCLA, and I'm a translator of Norse myths and sagas. In this video, I just want to take a quick look at the word Valhalla, or Old Norse Valhåll. This is one of many words that in English and other languages of today has this additional A that comes from 18th, 19th, and early 20th century translators wanting to make feminine gender words in Old Norse look more like feminine gender words in Greek or Latin by adding an A at the end. Now, many feminine gender words in Old Norse do end in an A, such as the name Frøya of the goddess, or the word Saga, but words like Valhåll don't. Now, the typical meaning that you will find for this word in a book about Old Norse or about Norse mythology is Hall of the Slain. So in fact, Hall means hall. It's very closely related to the English word. And Val means a dead body on the battlefield. So you could also call it the hall of the killed in battle, the dead from the battle, the hall of the battlefield dead. But there is a possibility that both elements of the name could come from different words that have very similar form. There are some areas in Sweden called Valhall where the hall in the second element is not hall, is not cognate with the English word hall, but instead is from Old Norse hallar, meaning rock. Now, if this is the rock of the slain originally, and later comes to be interpreted as the hall of the slain, that might help explain a very curious scene in Gautrek Saga chapter 1. In this scene, King Gauti of what is now called Jutland in Sweden goes wandering in the woods pursuing a buck that he has shot but not killed. And he comes up to a house that is well hidden in the woods after he's led there by hearing a dog barking. As soon as he arrives at the house, a slave kills the dog, and Gauti tries to get inside, but the family doesn't want to let him in. Finally, he wedges his way in, and they very reluctantly give him hospitality. That evening, he talks to the daughter of the family that lives there, and she tells him this, and I'm going to read it in Old Norse with reconstructed pronunciation. First, if you want more information about the pronunciation that I use, there'll be a card in the top right that will link to a video that talks about it. Note that I don't use the modern Icelandic pronunciation that you're more likely to hear for Old Norse today. So here's what she tells him about the rock that leads to Valhall. Her så hammar vid bövor heitir Gillingshammar, och þar í hjá stappi så ver kollum eternistappa. Han svo hår och það flug fyrir ofan, að það kvikindi hefur ekki líf þar gengur fyrir niður. Því heitir það eternistappi, að þar með fækkum ver vort eterni, þegar oss þykir stór kynsel við bera, og døya þar allir vorir foreldrar fyrir utan alla sot, og fara þó til Óðins, og þurfum ver af engu voru foreldri þyngsel að hafa neitt trjótsku, því að þessi seldarstaðar hefur öllum verið jafn frós vorum etsmónum, og þurfum eigi að lifa við fjörtjón eða fötslulöysi, ne engi onnur kynsel eða bjösen, þótt her beri til handa. Því ætlar faðir minn og móðir og morgin að skipta arfi með oss systkinum, en þá vilja síðan og þrælin með þeim ganga fyrir eternistappa og fara svo til Valhallar. Vill faðir minn eigi teppilegar launa þrælnum þann góðvilja, að hann ætlaði að rekka þig úr dýrum, en nú njóti hann sælu með honum. Þykist hann og vist vita að Óðinn mun eigi ganga í mót þrælnum, nema hann sé í hans forunauti. And here's my translation of that part of chapter 1 of Gautrek Saga. There is a promontory near our farm called Gillingshammar, and on it is a rock that we call the family's rock. It is so high that no living thing could survive falling from it. We call it the family's rock because that is where we thin out our family when any significant, unusual event happens. In that place, all of our ancestors have died without suffering illness and gone straight to Odin, and thus we have to suffer no burden or irritation from our elders. This place of happiness has always been equally free to all our kin, and we don't have to live with any kind of financial loss or hunger or any other kind of strange things that might befall us. Therefore, my parents intend to divide up the inheritance among me and my siblings, and they want to go over the family's rock after this with their slave, and in this way go to Valhalla. My father wants to repay their slave's good deed, which was that he tried to keep you outside the door, in a small way and enjoy his blessing alongside him. He thinks that Odin wouldn't accept the slave unless he was in the company of my father. Now this saga is written down fairly late, I'd say 1300 or so, but it probably reflects some pretty old traditions. This is also the saga in which we read of a sacrifice to Odin by hanging a man and then spearing him, much like the sacrifice of Odin to himself in Valhåll. In the poem Valhalla. I talked about that quite a bit in my video called Odin and the Dead. So, quite possibly, originally, the word might have been Valhallr, hall of the slain, although, again, Val is pretty well associated with those killed in battle, so someone just throwing themselves off a rock doesn't seem to qualify you for Val. But there's a possibility this has something to do with the origin of the term, the origin of the concept, and that later Hallr gets replaced with a very similar, much more common word, hol, hall. But it's hard to know, right? There's so many question marks here. Another small possibility, although I think it's less likely, is that the first element, Val, might not be those dead in battle, but rather from the word that also becomes, oddly enough, the English word Wales, or the adjective form Welsh. It means foreigner, right? So the English, speaking a close related language to Old Norse, used the root wall to refer to the Welsh, as those were the foreigners they were tending to encounter. But the Norse still use Val in the sense of just kind of any foreigner. It can also specifically be used to France for whatever reason. So it could have originally possibly been the foreign hall. In that case, possibly inspired by a Norse traveler seeing a great foreign hall, such as some people think the Colosseum or perhaps the Hall of Charlemagne. I think that's kind of a stretch, but it is another possibility of an alternative origin for that very famous word. So, Valhåll in Old Norse, or Valhalla in English, a couple of possibilities for its origin. I hope you found that interesting or informative, and if you enjoy these videos, I hope you'll check out my translations. My translation of the Poetic Edda is available, as well as my translation of the Saga of the Volsungs. Those are also available as audiobooks narrated by me. And soon my translation of the Wanderer's Havamal, a focused book with just that poem, plus some other poems about Odin and his Valkyries, including the Old Norse text and commentary on the Old Norse text, as well as 2 English translations by me. That will be available. And if you enjoy these videos made for free in beautiful places, I hope you'll check out my Patreon, where you can help me continue to make these videos for free in beautiful places. So thank you for your support, and for now, from beautiful Colorado, I'm wishing you all the best.